So it's no secret that I like journaling. I've made quite a few videos on here, and if you've never seen me before, now you know. I'm obsessed with journaling. It's my favorite thing to do. I do it every day. It's a strict part of my routine, and it must be done. No questions asked. The thing that I've struggled with when journaling is finding a place for digital and analog journaling, because I like both. And for the longest time, it just was not working out for me, and I couldn't figure it out. The thought of journaling on like GoodNotes on my iPad was weird. I don't know. I need a physical book to hold, and GoodNotes and Notability were just not cutting it for me, and it just didn't feel right. But I have figured out what I think, as of right now, is the perfect solution. My journaling will change in a month or two for sure. It always does. But for right now, this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to show you how I mix both digital journaling with analog physical journaling in a book. This is my journal at the moment. I made this one. It is a 6-ring binder, and that's kind of crucial for the setup of this journal system. I'm going to show you really quickly. I have a whole video flipping through it in more detail if you want to watch it. It's up in the cards, or you can look down in the channel, or you can find it. You know how to use YouTube, okay? I'm not going to hold your hand. Very quickly though, this is my journal. I've got a 6-ring binder that I made. I bought a bunch of leather stuff, which, side note, I am going to start selling these eventually. Not anytime soon, but I would love to make this a business because I love journaling and I love books. Everybody journals in some capacity, whether it's on a post-it note, writing or to-do lists, or it's full memory keeping in long form script. Everybody does it. I just paste a bunch of things in here, and I can do that because of the 6-ring binder. But my journal pages lately have been really cool, I think. I'm biased because I use them. This is a music log of music I've been listening to over the last month. As you can see, it's printed out. I did this on my iPad, and then I printed it out, and I can put it in my journal. And you might be thinking, that seems like a lot of work. In a way it is, but it's also not nearly as much work as I thought it was. This is not a new system by any means. The proper term is like a filofax system, and it's just a binder. But I never thought I would get into it because I kind of think that they're a little ugly, and I still kind of do. I really like my cover, but I'm biased because I made it. But I do think it's one of the nicer ones out there. And I just thought the idea of printing everything and then cutting it out and gluing it together and hole punching it in was a lot. It's not. It's the same time, if not less time, than cutting out a bunch of individual photos to then paste into a journal like you would do traditionally. This is actually a lot easier because I can gather all the photos that I want, put them on a Procreate template, which we're going to get to, and then print it out, and then just hole punch it, and it's in the binder, and it's good to go, and I can still write in there. I have loose leaf paper in the back so that I have that physical handwritten portion of my journal, which I so desperately need. I can still paste things in there, and it works great. I really love it. It's the best system that I found thus far because I'm an illustrator, I do art, I do graphic design stuff, and I do a lot of my work on my iPad and Procreate. A lot of my sketching is in there. So this is the way that I can also have my digital creations have a physical place to live. And it makes everything so much better for me. I'm going to show you how to do it because there's not any videos that I found that were helpful or that showed you how to do this. Let's get into it. I'm going to be using templates that I have made. And if you want to get the templates that I have them on my Patreon down below. It's $5 to join a month. And what that gets you is some digital goodies. You get these paper templates, which I update often. And every time I make a new one, you get the updated version. You don't have to pay again for it. There's digital wallpapers. I have little calendars. I have a bunch of digital goodies on there. And it just helps support me. There's also a free tier, which you can join for free and get to see all the sketches and the behind the scenes and videos that I don't post on YouTube and stuff like that. Or if you just want to buy the templates, I think they're $3. You can just buy it the one time. You don't have to join the Patreon if you don't want to. But if you do, thank you, down below. So let's get into it. This is my journaling system. I have a folder that has my journal pages in it, which I'm not going to show you because A lot of them are personal and they're not done yet. I'll eventually flip through my February journal pages because the month is over, so that'll be probably the next video. But these are my journal templates. This is where I make them and then I upload them to Patreon. So if you want to get them and follow along, you can do that. Or you can follow along and make your own templates. If you want to make your own templates, these are the dimensions that you will need for an A5 style book. This journal that I have is A5 style. It's like a typical notebook size. And the dimensions for that page are going to be right here, 3508 by 2480 pixels. And this is going to give you 2 pages, which you will fold into one. And I will show you how to do that because it's very confusing when you start. It makes no sense, but I promise you'll get it. Once you kind of have to physically do it also. I can tell you as much as I can explain, but you have to do it to see. But I'll show you examples. So let's get into it. So I have all of my pages when I am journaling in a folder like this. These are, like I said, just the templates. So what I'm going to do is import. Say you just downloaded these files, you have them on your iPad. So I am now going to go into my Dropbox and I'm going to go to my blank pages, A5 papers, and this is where I have all of that information. This is what your folder will look like when you download the folder and use it, if you use it. So we can see there are single pages and double pages. The difference between the two is a single page is one physical single page in your book. I just have to show you to explain it. So a single page would be one of these pages. Each piece of paper that you print out from the printer will have 2 single pages. So it will have one page like this, and then it'll have another page on the back like this, okay? So a single page refers to working on one side of your book. A double page file has 2 pieces of paper, but they are not side by side like this. A double page file will give you a piece of paper that comes out of the printer with these 2 pages. So it'll be on your right side of your book, and then you flip it to your left side of the next page. This is one insert, one leaflet, we'll call it. This is what you'd be working on a double page file. Personally, I like to work on a single page and then I stitch them together depending on what I want them to print out like, because you do kind of have to figure out what pages you want next to each other. And for me, it's just a lot easier to do it on a single page and have that as its own file and then stitch it together on a double page. So I like to go on with a single page first. I'm just going to use the blank right page, which is what I typically start with. I like to start with the right page because it just makes more sense when you're using it. You'll see on the right is going to be the first piece that comes out of the printer. And then once you glue them together, the left page of the next page, once you flip it, will be that one, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's really hard to explain. You have to do it. You have to do it. Get a piece of paper, any piece of paper, follow what I'm going to say, and hopefully this cements it in your brain to understand it better. I have before me, before our very eyes, a piece of paper from the double file section. This is your normal printer paper size in America. On this, I'm going to write, okay, on this, can you see? We have a right and a left. When you have this in front of your face, like I do right now, it will be opposite to what your left and right are in real life. The right side paper from the digital file that's called the right side, will in person with your eyes be on the left side of your physical paper. Vice versa for the other one. If you import a single left page, it's going to come out on the right side of a physical paper. That is because when we have these lined up and you print them out, what we do with this paper is fold it in half, and then we have created a leaflet. So your right page would be here, then you would flip your paper, you got your page on the left. These pages on a double file will never be your book open, if that makes sense. Like it will never, these 2 pages are not going to be side by side when you have your book laying flat. It doesn't work like that. You have to have stitched them together in the way that you want them to have a page when your book is open, left and right next to each other. That's why I like to use the single pages, because it just makes it a lot easier, and you can move pages around and figure out where you want things to go. So that's why I do that. My advice, use the single pages and start with the right side of your paper and then your left side of your paper. Unless you want them to be 2 continuous pages, you're going to have 4 pages ready to go to print out so that 2 of them are next to each other. We'll get there, okay? I hope that makes sense. I hope that visual lets you understand what we're doing. Here's what I like to do. I insert photos in here. I insert text. I have parts of articles that I've read that I like to keep in my journal, and whatever you want to do, you can do. I add sketches that I've done. I add final pieces that I've done just so I have them in my book. When you import your file, here's what you got. You got 1 layer. Always add a new layer. That is where you're going to write. Do not write on this layer, because if you go to erase something, watch what happens. You lose your paper. Add a new layer. See this little moon guy right here? This is Asteroid. He's my original character. He's like the mascot of my brand. Asteroid will always be in the middle of the book. Anytime that you have your book opened, if you're using my pages, Asteroid will be right here in the middle. That's how you know that this is the center of your book, and that's where you're going to punch your rings, okay? So I have these little stars here too. This is where your rings are going to go. The hole punches for your rings are going to be, like right there. Always make a new layer. I like to rename my layers, and I use these 3 different layers. I use a script layer, which to me just signifies that I hand wrote that. I'll make another one under the script layer, and I name it highlighter so that I can highlight things under what I've written. I don't like to highlight over the text. That's just a personal preference. And then finally, I will have a text layer, and then if I insert photos, they automatically create a new layer when you import photos. So let's import this screenshot from Sky. This is the game that I've been playing a lot lately. So you can add whatever you want in here. That's the cool thing about the digital system, is you can do whatever. You don't even have to be using Procreate. This is just what I feel like is going to be most accessible. It's the most portable. You can use Photoshop, you can use Canva, you can do whatever you want as long as you have the right file size. And in the folder that you'll download from Patreon if you get my pages, I have a guide page which gives you the border parameters so you know where you can put stuff in if you want to make your own pages. That way you are taking account for the hole punches and then where the paper folds. These are the brushes that I like to use. My favorite at the moment is 0.5 mechanical pencil, and this is from True Grit Texture Supply. I just think that the texture of it is nice. I like how it writes. It fits in there perfectly for my handwriting. You're going to have to, mess around and see what works best for you. I'm looking at my screen right now. I don't know if you can see the grid pages on here, but these are grid. Hopefully you can see that. But there's a bunch of different pages in there for you to browse through. There's a daily planner, a monthly planner, a weekly planner, blank pages, and commonplace pages. I have some animation sheets and some storyboard pages. And like I said, I'm going to add a bunch more as time goes on and I make new pages. So if you have any suggestions of pages you want, comment them. I will make them and put them in there for you to re-download whenever I update them. So anyways, that's my favorite brush. For highlighting, I like to use this one from Uncreative. This is the person who makes them. I like this one a lot. Not a particular reason, it's just the one that I've been using. And I'll go into the highlight layer and then highlight. I'll turn down the opacity because I like it when it's, a little bit see-through. And there you go. So I'm not going to make a page right now. I'm just showing you how to get it done, what to do. That's up to you to figure out what you want to put. But you can add whatever you want. Last thing, text. You go to here, go to your wrench, go to add text, and then you can type, "Hello, I am filming a video right now." Select all your text, and I've found that with the pages that I use, I've made a custom font of my handwriting, which is the one that I'm using right now. But generally, I think that 12-point font works pretty well for these pages. You will have to figure it out for your particular font, but generally that's been working well for the fonts that I use. If you ever have any trouble with fitting it in the pages, use this one called Leading, and it will determine how spaced out the lines are. Let me try to show you. If I do different lines, it'll space it out. See how it's moving it? And you can kind of figure out where they fit for your liking. I'm going to show you now how to export them properly. So like I said, a double page is what you will print out. You will never, I don't think there's ever a time where you're going to print out a single page like this. It doesn't really work that way unless you want the back side of your paper to be blank. That's up to you to figure out. But typically you are going to print out a double page so that you have the printer paper size paper to fold and make into a leaflet. So what I like to do is I will save it to my camera roll as a PNG file, and then I will take a blank double page. Doesn't matter which one, you can click any of them. I typically go for the blank page. This is where Asteroid comes in handy. I mentioned Asteroid will always be in the center of the book when you have put it together. So it's typically going to be the reverse of what you're thinking. So this is not the center of your book. This is where the pages fold, and it's actually the edge of the page. These are the center. So when you go to add your file, I'm going to select my file, and if you use the double pages, it should automatically fit properly because the dimensions are the right size. Just make sure that you line up the asteroid that you are importing with the one that is on the double page. So this one goes here, and I just hold it until the lines come up so I know it's center, and then you would put in the left single page right onto this side right here. Yeah, so just like the physical page, we have a right and a left. So right in front of your face, both on screen at this step, on screen and on a physical paper, this is your right side and this is your left side. So that when you print it out, pretend all of this stuff is on here. Bzzz, comes out of your printer. Here's your paper, right, left. We fold it, and the middle, see how the middle becomes the edge of that page? And asteroid right here becomes where we're going to hole punch. And now you have a page. I hope that makes sense. I think it does. I might just understand it and not know how to explain it better, but I think that makes sense. So now, say you've pasted in both sides of your page. You can take this page and export it to your camera roll, export it to wherever you want. I export it to Dropbox, and I also export it to GoodNotes. I will show you why I do that next, but you can stop here. I do that because I like to have them backed up somewhere in case I want to reprint them or reference them online on my phone. Sometimes I leave my journal at the house and I take my iPad, or sometimes I don't take them. In the event that I don't take either of them, which is very rare, I take these things everywhere that I go, I can access it on my phone through Dropbox or through GoodNotes or Notability. So that's just like an extra step for me because I like to have things archived and know that they're safe to reference in the future. But if you don't care about that, you kind of just want to print it out, have it in your journal, and that's that. All you got to do is export to your camera roll and then print it from there. I would recommend printing it through a laptop though, because I have found that for my printer, when I print from my iPad, it kind of doesn't print it properly. So if you have a better printer and it works fine, cool. I just like to print it from my computer, which is why I upload it to Dropbox. So, share it as a PNG, save the image, print it out, good to go. That is all you need to know. But if you want to know how to back up your pages to have them in like an archive folder, this is what I do. This is a finished page, we're going to pretend. What I like to do is after I've saved it to my camera roll, I do this with every single page that I make. I will save it to my camera roll as both separate single pages. So there's a single right page, single left page. Those have been saved to my camera roll because then I import them into this double page. So I also upload those individual pages into Dropbox in a separate folder. I change out my pages in my journal every month. So let's say this month I made a page that I want in my March journal, but I don't want the page that it's physically attached to. That's why I save the single pages, so then I can reassign it to a different double page file and print it out. So at this point, I have saved both the left and the right pages as a single page, so they're two separate files in my gallery, and I have saved the double page as its own file in my gallery. So we have 3 files to work with. So I will then go into 2025 journal, February pages, and here you can see I have double pages, personal size, and single pages. Personal size, pretend it's not there. That doesn't pertain. That's just a different sizing of paper for a different binder. So what I will do is I will go into double pages and I will upload that file into here, and then now it automatically puts the date for you. At least on my iPad it does. I don't know how I didn't do that. It just does that for me. I don't know how to do that. Don't ask. I wouldn't know how. I don't know. But here we can see I have the double page, and then I will go to single pages and do the exact same thing and upload those pages individually in that folder. The next thing I do is GoodNotes or Notability. This one doesn't really have a reason because I don't use it. This is for if you want to print out a bunch of pages at once instead of individual double page files. Say you've been journaling all day and you have like 14 single pages that you want to print out. This is where this next part comes in handy. So let's say I've done a bunch of pages. I will take a PDF, choose best quality, open in GoodNotes or Notability, whatever your preferred one is. I'm going to open in GoodNotes, and then I already have this set up to work the way that I use it. I'll click my journal. Basically, I'm just uploading them to a page file, so then I can swipe through and have all of these pages to print out. These 3 double page files, let's say I'm going to print them out. I can then share this as a PDF and print it out as a PDF, and it'll print out a bunch of pages back to back. I also like it just because I like to have them next to each other to swipe through also. And again, I can access it on my phone, and it's just easier and it looks nicer than going to Dropbox and sliding through all of these individual files and clicking them and opening them. Dropbox, I don't use it to like view what I've done. I just use it to have them backed up, and then I can reassign them if I need to. But yeah, I think that's the gist of it. I hope that makes sense. I think it does. I'm not sure, but I think it makes sense. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Let's say you understood everything, you've printed out your paper. Now this is the last step, and the part that I thought was tedious, but it's not, and it's actually really fun once you're in the groove of things. Last thing. Here's our example paper. Pretend I just got this out of the printer. Again, right, left. When you're looking at it, I'm looking at it right now in front of my face. So you can see the right side is actually on the left side is actually on the right. You're going to get your paper, okay? You're going to take it, flip it upside down, and we're just going to fold it, okay? Is this hot dog style? I think it's hot dog. Hot dog or hamburger, I don't know. I don't remember. Why would I remember that? That's from kindergarten. You're going to take it and just fold it in half this way. Line it up, make sure it looks even, good to go. I used to use this glue stick from the brand Glue, Gloo. I think it's Japanese. The glue is so good. It's so good. I'm out of it though. I need to get a new one. But you can also just use an Elmer's glue stick. That's what I've been using. And then you're just going to want to glue. I glue one side, the whole thing, fold it, glue it together, let it sit for a few minutes, and then usually I have a few pages to do, so I'll just kind of do like an assembly line. And then once they have glued, I will use a 6-ring hole punch that I have, and you just put it in your binder. And that's that. Then they're good to go. And then eventually you have something like this to work with, and everything's in there. I like this because look at all these things that I have in here. I can't flip through because one of these has important info, but you can just put hole punch like anything. I have letters in here from people, little tags and whatnot. So it's very customizable and I love it. So yeah, I think that's it. If you want to see an in-depth flip through of my journal, there's a video. It's 2 videos before this one, so you can click that and watch it if you want to see some inspo. This is just how to use those pages, what I do with them, and I hope it made sense. I really hope it made sense. I think it does. I don't know. If you have questions, comment them. Yeah, that is it for today. I'll see you in the next video when I flip through my February pages for the whole world to see. Thanks for watching, and happy journaling. Try it, please. Do not knock it before you try it, because I knocked it. Come to find out, this is the perfect system for me. The perfect blend of digital and physical analog journaling. So yeah, try it. I think you're going to like it. I'm going to go now. Thanks for watching. See ya.